we just listened to some channelings and you just got really triggered, aggravated from the last one. So tell me what's going on in your body.
I got triggered by the last two, but most especially the last one, because I work really hard for God.
Yes.
I work really hard to serve Spirit. And every step I take, there's 3 have to go backwards, and it's like I never finish my lessons. Like, when is it ever going to stop? And I can just make a success out of this. So I'm a bit pissed at the idea of having to die after spending all these years actually serving Spirit.
So where do you feel that in your body?
I can feel it. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my throat and behind my eyes.
Okay. Even though I've got this really aggravated feeling.
Even though I've got this really aggravated feeling.
In my chest, in my throat and behind my eyes.
In my chest, in my throat and behind my eyes.
I ask my guides and higher self.
I ask my guides and higher self.
To follow it through to where it first began.
To follow it through to where it first began.
And all the lifetimes I've experienced it.
And all the lifetimes I've experienced it.
So I can dissolve it once and for all.
So I can dissolve it once and for all.
I'm really aggravated.
I'm really aggravated.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And all my reactions.
And all my reactions.
I work really hard for Spirit.
I work really hard for Spirit.
1 step forward and 3 steps back.
Yep, 1 step forward and 3 steps back.
It really aggravates me.
It really aggravates me.
I accept myself anyhow.
I accept myself anyhow.
It really aggravates me.
It really aggravates me.
I work really hard for Spirit.
I work really hard for Spirit.
It really pisses me off. Is that what you said before?
It really pisses me off.
That I have to die.
That I have to die.
Is that what you said?
It really pisses me off that after working so hard, I die without any success.
I die without any success.
Yeah.
And it feels like I've done that in other lifetimes.
It feels like I've done that in other lifetimes.
And I want to dissolve that feeling in my chest, throat and behind my eyes.
And I want to dissolve that feeling in my chest, throat and behind my eyes.
By going to its origin.
By going to its origin.
Because it's still affecting me in this life.
Because it's still affecting me in this life, yes, it is.
And I want to dissolve it.
And I want to dissolve it.
I'm over this lesson.
I'm over this lesson.
And I really want to process it.
And I really want to process it.
I want to step through it.
Yes, I want to step through it.
I've had it for too many lifetimes.
I've had it for too many lifetimes.
That service to God.
That service to God.
Service to Spirit.
Service to Spirit.
Where I'm dying without having got there.
Where I'm dying without having got there.
It's really aggravating me.
It's really, really aggravating me and upsetting me.
I wonder where I first experienced it.
I wonder where I first experienced it.
Asking guides and higher self to take me there.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
I actually do think it's the same scenario. Because I'm hot. I'm having a hot flush.
I'm really hot.
I'm really hot.
That hot flush feeling.
That hot flush feeling.
I think it's the same scenario that I just listened to.
I think it's the same scenario that I just listened to. I don't know if I was one of the acolytes or
the spiritual entourage.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but it was one of them.
I went to my death.
I went to my death.
Too early.
Way too early.
I wasn't prepared for it.
And I wasn't prepared for it.
It took me by surprise.
It took me by surprise.
And I'm really angry.
And I'm really angry.
I'm really hot.
And I'm really hot and I'm really scared.
And I'm really scared.
Yep.
Sitting there in that alcove.
Sitting there in that alcove.
I'm really scared.
I'm really scared.
I can feel the fear in my whole body.
Yep, I can feel the fear in my whole body.
And I'm really angry.
Yeah, I'm really angry.
I accept myself and all these feelings.
I accept myself and all those feelings.
I want to process and release them.
And I want to process and release them.
Right where I felt them.
Right where I felt them.
All the way into all of my lives.
All the way into all of my lives.
Especially this one.
Especially this one.
I can feel myself sitting in that alcove.
I can feel myself sitting in that alcove.
I'm really hot.
And I'm really hot.
I can feel all the fear.
I can feel all the fear.
I'm really sick of this.
And I'm really sick of this. Yeah, I'm really sick of this.
In my service to God.
In my service to God.
Why do I have to die so young?
Why do I have to die so young?
I never seem to get there.
I never seem to get there.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, it's just not fair.
All this fear in my body.
All this fear in my body.
I'm really scared.
I'm really scared.
I can imagine being in that alcove.
I can imagine being in that alcove.
Feeling the fear.
Feeling the fear.
Asking my higher self and guides.
Asking my higher self and guides.
What's the higher learning?
What's the higher learning?
I want to process and release this feeling.
I want to process and release this feeling.
never really die,
I never really die,
but I died with that feeling,
but I died with that feeling,
that pissed off feeling,
that pissed off feeling,
that scared feeling.
yep, and that scared feeling,
I
and that I'm
was-
never going to make it feeling.
That I'm never going to
gonna
make it. I'm never going to make it.
Yep.
I'm never going to make it.
Yep, I'm never going to make it.
And I've got that still in this life.
And I've got that still in this life.
And I want to process it and release it.
And I want to process and release it.
All the way back to that origin,
All the way back to its origin.
where I felt like I'm never going to make it.
Where I felt like I'm never going to make it.
That scared, pissed off feeling.
That scared, pissed off feeling.
I'm really angry.
I'm really angry.
I'm really scared.
I'm really scared.
That pissed off feeling.
That pissed off feeling.
Just like in this life,
Just like in this life.
it feels like I'm never going to make it.
Yep, feels like I'm never going to make it, no matter how hard I work.
No matter how much I'm in service
No matter how much I'm in service. Yep.
to God and Spirit.
To God and Spirit.
I want to process that fear,
I want to process that fear.
all that anger,
All that anger.
that feeling like I'm not going to make it.
That feeling that I'm not going to make it.
I want to process it all the way back to its origin,
I want to process it all the way back to its origin.
asking my guides and higher self
Asking my guides and higher self
and my body
and my body
and all the multidimensional layers
and all the multidimensional layers
to process it and release it,
to process and release it.
all the way back to its origin,
All the way back to its origin.
processing the anger,
Processing the anger.
releasing the anger
Releasing the anger.
from the multidimensional layers of myself,
From the multi-dimensional layers of my selves.
releasing the anger
Releasing the anger
and the feeling that I'll never make it,
and the feeling that I'll never make it.
processing the fear
Processing the fear
that I'm never going to make it,
that I'm never going to make it.
processing the feeling that I go one step forward and three steps back,
Processing the feeling that I go one step forward and three steps back.
releasing it all,
Releasing it all.
asking myself to release it all.
Asking myself to release it all.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
It doesn't serve me to hang on to it.
My intention,
My intention,
my expression
my expression,
to step through it,
to step through it.
giving the instructions to myself
Giving the instructions to myself
to step through this lesson.
to step through this lesson once and for all.
Once and for all.
Yeah.
Learning the higher learning.
Learning the higher learning.
Asking my higher self and guides what's the higher learning
Asking my higher self and guides what's the higher learning
as I step through the fear and the anger.
as I step through the fear and anger. You know, I actually can't see a higher learning. All I can see is hopelessness, and I'm lost. I feel lost and despair.
That lost feeling,
Yeah, that lost feeling,
the despair,
the despair,
as I go into spirit in that lifetime,
as I go into spirit into that lifetime,
dissolving the fear,
dissolving the fear,
dissolving the anger,
dissolving the anger,
asking the masters and the guides
asking the masters and the guides
to come to me now and give me the answers.
and give me the answers,
The higher learning,
the higher learning,
the purpose of that life.
the purpose for that life.
What is it?
I actually said you're going to be a spiritual renegade. Great. That's great. No wonder I don't want to do it. No, it's not fun.
All my resistance
All my resistance
to being a spiritual renegade.
to being a spiritual renegade.
What if I go one step forward and three steps back?
Well, what if I go one step forward and three steps? It's actually more than that.
What if
I'm left alone?
What if I'm left alone?
What if I'm left alone?
All this resistance.
All this resistance.
What if I'm left alone?
What if I'm left alone?
I'm never alone,
No, I'm never alone.
but it feels like I might be left alone.
But it feels like I might be left alone.
Just like when I was dying,
Just like when I was dying,
in that room full of people,
in that room full of people,
in that alcove,
and in that alcove.
it felt like I was left alone.
It felt like I was left alone.
Felt like I was abandoned by spirit,
Yep, it did. Felt like I was abandoned by God.
by God.
Yeah.
my resistance.
All my resistance.
Feeling alone.
Feeling alone.
Fear of being alone.
Fear of being alone.
Feeling like I was abandoned by God.
Feeling like I was abandoned by God.
Releasing all my resistance.
Releasing all my resistance.
To being in my true purpose.
To being in my true purpose.
Being a spiritual guide. Being a spiritual renegade.
I know what that is.
What is it?
It's to remind people they're actually powerful in a world where we're taught we're powerless. Yeah.
I'm stepping into my power.
I'm stepping into my power.
I'm a powerful being.
I am a powerful being.
In a world where we're taught we're powerless.
Yeah, in a world where we're taught we're powerless.
And in the past I felt alone.
And in the past I have felt alone.
In my power.
In my power.
But more and more in this new energy.
But more and more in this new energy.
It's safe for people to step into their spiritual power.
It's safe for people to step into their spiritual power, yeah.
And I take on that purpose.
And I take on that purpose.
Spiritual renegade.
A spiritual renegade.
In this time.
In this time.
It's meant to be.
It is meant to be. And I accept it.
I accept that power.
I accept that power.
The time's right.
The time is right.
As I release all my fears.
As I release all my fears.
That feeling of being alone.
That feeling of being alone.
It's no longer relevant for this life.
It's no longer relevant for this life.
And I step through that lesson.
And I step through that lesson.
Thank you, my guides and higher self.
Thank you, my guides and higher self.
For bringing me to my life purpose.
Bringing me to my life purpose.
Without fear.
Without fear.
I accept my purpose.
I accept my purpose.
As a spiritual renegade.
As a spiritual renegade.
A powerful being.
A powerful being.
Yay.
Far out.
That was good. You were right in that, like before you were like so resisting.
Yeah, you know, my life purpose is all my life. Since I was a child, I've needed to know my purpose. So I've lived it all. And ever since I was a kid, all I wanted was to know why I was here. But now that it's almost like I did know but didn't want to know.
Yeah, because there was
Cool,
resistance
man.
to...
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was resistance
To knowing that, because then I'll be alone. I'll be a spiritual renegade and I'll be alone.
And what I saw, and this was not my lifetime, I don't think. I saw Martin Luther King and how he was killed because he was a renegade. And it was like, I'm terrified I'm going to get killed if I speak out of the norm.
So maybe you were in that lifetime
possibly,
where
yeah.
you saw and witnessed and felt the energy of, look what happened to Martin Luther King when he...
I don't think I was a player in there, but I got shown like a movie reel how he was killed for speaking outside the box and trying to help. Well, he was trying to help people with power, wasn't he? Wow, that's like, I have to get my head around this now. It's cool.
So even though I'm still trying to get my head around it all.
I am still trying to get my head around it all.
But I feel like I know what my purpose is now.
Yeah, I feel like I do know my purpose and I accept it.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And my purpose.
And my purpose.
I'm still trying to get my head around it.
I'm still trying to get my head around it.
But maybe my energy's got it.
But my energy does have it. Yeah.
My energy has my purpose.
My energy has my purpose.
My heart and my soul has my purpose.
My heart and my soul has my purpose.
And I'm no longer resisting.
No, I'm no longer resisting.
I'm up for it.
I'm up for it. I am up for it. I've waited a long time.
I don't have to die.
I don't have to die.
Like Martin Luther King did.
Like Martin Luther King did.
The energy wasn't ready for him then.
That's right. The energy wasn't ready for him then.
The energy's ready for my power now.
The energy's ready for my power